Hello and Happy New Year. My name is Esther and this is my Flosstube. I'm also on Instagram as SpeedyXstitcher. Today I'm going to show you, you can see I have lined up with finishes as well as all my projects. I'm going to show you all my active projects or active whips. So when I'm done showing you the few projects I did not work on in 2024, I will start showing you all the projects I did work on in 2024. I'm going to do it a bit different than usually because it's going to be a whip parade featuring a finish parade. That means I'm going to show you the projects alphabetically. That means I have my list here and I'm going to take the first one, that's a finished one, then I will show you the finished one and then I will move on, because for me that would be the easiest way to do this. Let's start. So the first one, that's called the Star Pillow. It's a pattern I found in an old Danish book with graphical cross-stitch patterns. I haven't stitched on it for a long time and it's quite, it has not been ironed. And it looks like this. I'm stitching it with Mrs. Cedar silks called Oxide. This used to be my car project, but since my ex and I parted our ways, I'm the one driving the car, so I don't have time to stitch. I think I've actually kind of forgot that I had this one, because it's a very easy project to bring along. So maybe I should not put it at the bottom of my pile, but at the top. And it's stitched on 18 count white Ada. The next one is a Hade. I think that's going to be one of my oldest active whips now, because I put 13 projects away into a non-active whip pile. This is a mini, it's called Quarantine Cats. I began this one on January 16th in 2021. And, sorry. And I really hope to get some stitching done on this year, because I used to have 3 Hades, but I did manage to finish a Hade this year. And it was the last one I had begun, but I'll show you that one later. So this is Quarantine Cats Mini. The next 3 are all from Forbidden Fiber Company. If you have seen some of my videos before, you will know that I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer quite a lot, especially Spike, but I also like the other characters. And Forbidden Fibers, once upon a time, they made some patterns. They were called Mind, Spirit and Heart, and that's Giles, Willow and Sander. I'm stitching it on 20 count that I dyed myself. And this is Giles, and I think this is Sander or Willow. And then we have one here. So I haven't stitched on it for a year. I should. I hope I'm going to stitch a bit on it this year. And I'm using Sulky. 3 different colors, not kinds, 3 different colors of Sulky. And the next one, they are both from Cute Patterns by Maria. It's not that I only need to do the back stitching, and don't ask me why I just can't pull myself together to do the back stitching, because then they would be done. I began this on the 12th of March 2022. And the other one is the sunflower. I forgot to write down when I began that one. It's all on 18 count light green Ada. Here we have Halloween Cat by StitchersLoversShop. It's on Zweigart Lurex 18 count. And it's hand dyed by me, and it looks like this. And I think the fabric matches the colors very well. I began this on May the 5th in 2023. So this one is Iceland Mini. It's by the Stitch pattern. It's 1/1 on 22 count Hardanger, and I began it on June the 18th in 2023. Yeah. And the last one, that's not completely true, but the last one is actually the Witcher, and he's over there. So he will be one of the last one I show you, because he's in the same bag as another project. That will be the case with several of them. That will be the case with several of my projects, because they are in the same bag. So it's not always going to be completely alphabetically. So this one is by the Witchy Stitcher, and it's called the Vintage Pumpkin Carriage, I think. And it looks like this. And I completely forgot to write down information, but it is on 18 count, probably what was that? I think I have to go and check what that was. I think this is Silver Lurex 18 count, hand dyed by me. Anyway, I'm going to check, and anyway I have to change, so I'll see you in a bit. Okay, the way I'm going to do this is, as I said before, I have my list, and I have divided it into 4 parts, because I will not be able to have all of this stuff on my table at the same time. So I divided it into 4 parts, and then I will show you one part, and then I will take a break, and then I will put out the next part and show you that one. I hope it will work all right this way. So the first project I'm going to show you is a fully finished object, and it's completely ugly. I said it. The project itself was okay. It's called 13 Spooky Street. It was from Just Crossstitch Halloween 2023, and I stitched it on 18 count, hand dyed by me. And from now on, when I say fabric is hand dyed, if I do not say anything else, it means that I dyed it. And I used sulky. The reason why I say it's ugly is because the finish process didn't go well, but I decided to keep it this way. Yeah, let me just show you. This is really awful. I mean, the motif itself, it's all right, but first of all, these are too big. I forgot the name of them at the moment. Never mind, you know what it is. They're too big, and the color doesn't match completely. And besides, it was the first time, which you can see, that I tried to finish a project with these pom-poms. That's what they're called. And the backside looks like this. So I just decided to keep it this way, and I mean, it's only up for Halloween, and I can put it between some other pillows, and then, yeah, well, I mean, of course, it's always nice. It's always nicest to show you stuff that you completed that you are absolutely satisfied with. But I think it's also important to show you the failures. And this is definitely one of my failures. But I'm not going to change it. Because I learned from this. Because on the same day, right after I finished this one, I finished another pillow where I also used pom-poms. And that pillow looks absolutely stunning. And you have probably seen it if you follow me on Instagram. If not, I will show you later. So this was the first project. The next one is an FO. It was a saying I saw on the internet and I had to stitch it. And it looks like this. I stitched it on printed fabric. It's called Skettek, and it's on 16 count. And the floss I used was JX Stitch hand painted. I thought it would look absolutely stunning on this one. And I think it looks absolutely right. I'm going to turn it into one of these rectangular pillows. I really like those kind of pillows. Yeah. So that was an FO. And yes, it did say 1994 on the meme, but I changed it into 1995 because I finished it 2 days ago, and I thought then it would fit for this year. Yeah. The next two ones are from Olaf and Stitch. They are both Christmas projects. They are stitched with just 4 colors. These are the 3 of them. The last one is white. Let's see, the first one is Santa's Home. It's on 16 count light gray Ada, and I'm using the call for DMC, and it looks like this. And as you can see, I do put up pictures so you can see how the end result will look, hopefully. It's a nice stitch. If I were to change it, I would probably have chosen a little darker fabric, but I'm not going to change it now since I have stitched several thousand stitches already. And the other one is called Arrivano Regali, the arrival of the Christmas packages. I haven't stitched much on that one. I'm using fabric where I used to stitch some Halloween that I gave up. This is on 16 count parchment. And this is how far I got. The next one I did stitch once before. It's a Quilter's Dream by Modern Folk Embroidery. The first one I stitched in 25 days. That's not the case with this one. Eventually I'm going to finish it, but I don't know when. It's on 18 count Confederate Gray, and I'm using the colors 310 and 321. And this is how far I got. When I do stitch on it, I really like it. But I also have to focus and concentrate a bit, because the pattern, even though I did stitch it before, you can't be sure that you really have to count and count and count. But it just looks so amazing. And I'm going to put up the other one I made so you can see that this time I changed the colors. So I'm going to, when this eventually is done, I'm going to frame it and put them up next to each other. I think that will look amazing. The next one is called Autumn Puzzle. It's my own design. I'm doing doing it on 20 count easy count. And here I can show you a photo of how it will look. It looks like this, and as you can see, I have 3 frames here I have to fill out. But I forgot to put some of the colors in, which is why I'm stuck. Because every time I say, I would like to stitch on it now. Oh, I forgot to put in the color I miss, and do I want to stand up and find the color? No. And then I just put it aside and pick another project. Eventually, I'm going to stitch a bit on it again. The next one is by Tiny Modernist. It's called, I mean, it's not called that, but I call it Autumn Sampler because I'm doing her winter and summer sampler as well. And eventually I will start the spring sampler too. So this I stitch on 16 count parchment. And using the called for colors. I'm not that very far, just like this. But I really like it. Yeah. The next one I cannot show you, but it's by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I made it for a friend of mine. But I will show you a lot of photos of it here because I love this project. And I definitely want to stitch it for myself as well. I think it's so beautiful. But I will wait a year or 2 before I stitch it for myself. The next 4 ones, I'm going to put up a photo. They were by MamaWitchCrossStitch. It's on 14 count Ada, hand dyed. And I used the called for DMC. They were called Baby Bear, Baby Deer, Baby Fox, and Baby Racoon. And I think they are very, very cute. And they are on a wall all year round because I think they are not that wintry, so it's okay. The next one, I call it Badeand. That means bathing duck. It looks like this. This was, I mean, I made the pattern and then I tried to work with blending to see. I had been to an evening where a famous knit designer was showing and telling, and she had a sweater, I think it was, or a cardigan, whatever, where she used the blending technique. And I just thought, I'm going to try doing that on the cross stitch. I will do more of these because I think I should start a bit different, but I like the way it looks. And of course, also ducks on the back side. And a little charm for 2024. And this is on 16 count hand dyed fabric. And I think it's really cute. The next 2 ones are from the Primitive Hair. Not 2 ones, sorry, just 1. This is called Bar Humbug. And the only thing I did was stitching the frame. Like this. Yeah, it doesn't matter which way I turn it. I did it on 25 count even weave, hand dyed. And yeah, eventually I think I'm going to my plan is to do Christmas in July again, so that would be a nice opportunity to get some more stitching done on this one and maybe start on the other one as well. And I forgot the name of the other one, so then I made something that's a stranger approached me and asked if I could stitch it, and I cannot show it to you, but that I did as well. And then I did this black work with cat. That means there's no black work. I decided to rip out the black word and frame the cat so I could get rid of it. And this one is stitched on 28 count even weave called Butterscotch, and it's opalescent, as you can see. The next one I have shown you. I have talked about it for years. And here's the photo. Of course, it's my Buffy sampler that took me 3 years to finish. Sorry, 2 years to finish. And it's on my wall here in my living room. I look at it every day and I love it. I'm so happy that I made it. So that's really great. And people who see it and know Buffy, they also like it a lot. So that's really nice. In end April, I think, the building Børsen burned in Copenhagen. Børsen was built by Christian IV, the king, Christian IV. And the impact of the fire of this building was just as big on the Danish people as the burning of Notre Dame had on the French people. So I had to stitch the building. I do have a lot of my aunt's old patterns, and I just knew I had this pattern somewhere, and I found it, and I recharted it in WinStitch so I could get it into Pattern Keeper. And as you can see, it has a lot of backstitching, and this was completely demolished in the fire, but they will rebuild it. And it's such a beautiful building. And yeah, this is on my wall in my living room. A lot of my stitching are on my wall, or are on my walls. Oops. Okay, let's move on. The next one is from Nocti Floral Designs on 16 count black Ada. It's called Caduceus. It was one of 2 patterns that she released to support Doctors Without Frontiers, I think they're called. And this is the first one. And I like the black fabric and the black frame. As you can see, I do show some of the framed projects, but only those where I can actually manage to show it without too much glare. Number 20 is Catch a Falling Flake. It's from the Gift of Crossstitch, and I stitched it on 18 count blue Ada. I think it was Ada that's more than 40 years old. It has been in my stash forever. And I really hated stitching that metal thread, but it looks really good now. And it looks like that on the back side. The next project, I hate stitching. I like the pattern, but I should never have chosen 32 count. And it's not just 32 count, it's also opalescent. I struggle when I stitch it. Oh, no, please skip your, no. So it does take me a very, very long time to stitch it. I did stitch on it the other day, and I only stitched on it for 30 minutes because then I gave up. So eventually it will be done in 10 years or so. I'm using the silks from black silks from Miss Usidas. It's by MyDesign Crossstitch. And it's really, really cute, but I hate stitching on 32 count. Really? Oh, man. I know that 32 count is a favorite by many of you, but I violently dislike it. I keep miscounting. Oh, man, no. Whereas I do like stitching on 27, 28 count and 25, but 27, that's probably my favorite. The next two are new starts that I started yesterday, the last day of 2024. The first one is called Cat People. It's by Emma Condon, but I changed the colors completely. One of the reasons why I have a buy no floss this year is that during COVID, I bought a lot of especially Wix dye work and classic colorworks, as well as a lot of Misusita silk. Oh, he's still sitting there. Scipio, what are you doing? Scipio? Naughty boy. And every time I kit up a new project, I usually just go for DMC or sometimes sulky, which means I have so much fancy floss that I don't use. And therefore, one of my goals for 2025 is that I actually start using a lot of them, which is why I kitted up 6 new projects yesterday. 5 of them have fancy floss. And the first one is this Cat People by Emma Condon. It's on 16 count, hand dyed. I have not gone very far, because yesterday was New Year's Eve. I had to make a new start at 6 o'clock, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9, 10, and 11 p.m. I didn't have to stitch on each project for an hour. And this one I only stitched on for about 45 minutes, I think. But, I mean, I was allowed to stitch on something for 15 minutes and then stitch more on one of the other projects. But anyway, this is the L in Cat Lady. And the floss I chose are these. So these are the classic colorworks. They are the red and the blue ones. And these are Wix dye works. And you can see them together. They look like this. And then on the gray fabric. I hope it will look alright. It will be darker, but that's okay by me. And the next one is a project I did do before, but I stitched it for my school. This is the finished one that is in my school. Creativity is intelligence having fun, but I would really like to have it here. And this is an old scrap of 16 count hand dyed, and I'm using black for the text and is intelligence having fun. And for the creativity, I'm using Mojito by Misusitas. And I love stitching with silks, so it's really nice that a lot of these projects are with silks. Silks are definitely my favorite threads. The next one is Christmas Chaos. It's also, except for the black, it's also stitched with silk threads, different kind of silk threads. Some are silks for you, some are Misusitas, but most of them are silks. And it's from Just Cross Stitch Ornaments of 23, and the fabric is 16 count Al's Dark Magic by Chromatic Alchemy. Yeah. The next one, I'm going to show you two, actually 3 projects that mean even though, and the last one actually starts with an S, so I shouldn't show it to you now, but I will do that. They are all 3 by Shannon Christine, and I did all 3 on... What the... He bit into my stocking, my Christmas stocking. Where was I? 20 count Ada. These were all free patterns by Shannon Christine last year in her Facebook group. Her 12 days of Christmas. Now she made this club you have to join to get free patterns that cost money. I don't pay, so I don't get the patterns, and never mind, because I still got 9 left from last year. But these are the 3. So this is the Christmas mug number 3, and this is the Christmas tree mug, and then we have the Santa cookie, and I think they're really, really cute. I haven't decided what I do, but I might actually make them into little round ornaments. I think that might look nice. I don't know yet. And the fabric is pewter gray. The last one in this part is Lola Crow's Christmas Monster Sal. No, that's the second last. I'm behind and I don't care. I knew that from the beginning. And now I don't feel like stitching on Christmas stuff at all. But I love the way it turns out. It looks like this. I decided to do the frame. I have finished the Krampus and I'm doing La Befana now, and as you can see I still need the other 2. And she gave a bonus pattern that is so cute. I will put up a photo so you can see it. So, and it's on 27 counts, hand dyed. And yeah, she did recommend black. I think it looks absolutely great on this dark purple. It doesn't look that, it's darker in reality, but I really like the way it turns out. So that will probably be a project for Christmas in July. The next one is the Christmas Village from the World of Cross Stitch. It should be a full house, but with my arthritis in my right hand, it's very, very hard to stitch on plastic canvas. So I decided just to finish this one and then turn it into an ornament. And I think it turned out all right. And then we have the Christmas Window by Galliana Cross Stitch. I'm stitching it with Misusita silks called Copper. And I'm stitching it on, where is it? 18 count light blue Ada. And it looks like this. As you can see, I have plenty of fabric left. So this is how big it will get. And I love the way it turns out. But I have to be in a special mood to want to stitch on it. And as I said, at the moment, I don't feel like stitching any Christmas at all. Well, the last one on this project, you will probably have seen if you follow me on Instagram. It's my first Mirabilia. I thought I would never stitch Mirabilia. That was until I saw the Christmas tree of 2010. Oh man, it's so gorgeous. It's the first time I have beaded that many beads. It's on 27 count hand dyed. I'm using the call for beads, except for one of them, because the original was, you couldn't get hold of it anymore, so I had to pick another one. So I picked the blue one, but I think I found a nice substitute. I had a very hard time to get hold of the silks because you can only buy them outside of the EU. And then a very kind American lady, she sent them to me. And I'm really thankful that she would do that for me. And yeah, I think this is going to be the only the only Mirabilia Christmas tree, because I don't fancy the others as much. And besides, maybe you notice that the frame is not black, it's white, and that's because it would look completely stupid with a, it wouldn't, not stupid, but it wouldn't look as good if the frame was black, because there's so much white in it. Usually I do have black frames on all my projects because I stitch a lot of different projects, and then it makes it a bit quieter when all the frames have the same color. Well, anyway, yeah, and I've laced this one. I'll put up a photo so you can see that I actually laced this one. So it's, I love it. And it's a bit hard that it's now inside the cupboard, wrapped in some cloth until next December. But because, man, I love it. It's so beautiful. Well, this was part 1. The first one is a new Nora Corbett. It's a new start from yesterday. It's called Conservatory. I'm stitching it on 27 count hand dyed, and I had a pretty decent start. I'm already at 16%, and it looks like this. I'm using the call for threads, and I'm missing one water lilies, but it's on its way, and I did buy it before the end of the year, and it will arrive tomorrow, so it's okay. And I think it looks very good. And I don't have to show you a photo this time because I have the pattern right here. It looks like this. And I might buy some of these as well because I really like at least 3 of them, 2 of them. Maybe I will do all 4 of them. I will probably never stitch fancy ladies because that's just not my style. The next one is my first Thea Governor. It's called Crocus Panel. It has been on the way for a long time. These are the colors. Thea Governor never tell you the numbers of the DMC. So first of all I had to figure out what colors they were in order to make it into Pattern Keeper, but I succeeded. The finished one will look like this. I'm stitching it on 20 count linen look Ada, and this is how far I got, but I think it looks really nice. That might be a project I will soon stitch on again. I'm still, not that I have been working on it for a long time, I'm still struggling. I have also their governor called Rome. I'm still struggling to figure out the number of all the colors because it has more than 100 colors, I think. So that will take a lot of time before that's done. The next one, it's from a German magazine. It's called Darf ich einziehen? This is a restart, and this one, it's from Crossstitch Motive 20, and it's an 18 count light blue Ada. And again, I got it into Pattern Keeper. And this is how far I am. And this is not Christmassy, this is wintry, so maybe I will start stitching on it soon again. I mean, the weather today, it's more like autumn, fall. It's very, very, I think I already said that, it's very windy. The next one is the Denmark. It's by StitchersLoversShop. It's an 18 count vintage marble. I'm using the call for, but I used the wrong orange here, so I decided to change some of the colors. So it's not the same colors as in the picture, and I don't care. It's a fun stitch. Then another old paper pattern that I made Pattern Keeper compatible. This is a Disney pattern from a Danish magazine. It looks like this. I don't think I can show it. Yeah, like this. I plan to get it ready for next Christmas. I love stitching on it, even though it's got, as you can see, a lot of backstitch, quite a lot of backstitching. So far I only did the black backstitching. There are backstitching in other colors as well. This is from Hendes Verden, number 38 of 79. That was back in the days where they could actually put Disney charts in the magazines and they were legal. It's on 16 count navy blue Ada. And this guy here, I did stitch him when I was a kid. Okay, the next one is actually, I'm going to show all 6 because you might know that before the election, the US election, I was very hopeful and made a lot of pillows. And now they're just a memory of something that didn't happen. Let me just put it that way. So I'm just going to show them to you like this, and then we will talk no more about it. There are these 5 pillows. They are all stitched on 18 count white Ada, and I used 311 and 321, and I also did this one, and no more words about that. The next one I cannot show you except for a photo because it was a birthday present, a 60th birthday present for a friend of mine who's a drummer. And it looks like this. I called it Drums Too Loud. The next one is Madame Chantilly. It's on Misty Blue. It's on Retard. Maybe you remember a couple of years ago I did her Halloween town, and this is a Christmas town. And again, Christmas, not so much Christmas stitching now, but I still like it. My favorite soft drink, this one, I made this one. They had a competition last summer on Facebook, and there was a pattern, you know, for big beads for kids you could make, and I thought, I'm going to turn that into cross stitch pattern and stitch it. And if you then send in a photo to their page or to their Facebook page, you could win. So I won a big towel and socks and a cap and whatever with the logo on. So that was fun. Yeah. And it's on 18 count ice blue Ada. The next 4 ones are tiny ones. So we have a mushroom and an owl and a hedgehog and a pumpkin, and they're all patterns from Tiny Modernist, and I put them into little frames. So I put it up in my set box, and they are all stitched on 14 count easy count. Yeah, and the frames I got from an Estonian, I think Lithuanian or Estonian shop on Etsy. Let me know if you, I mean, you can ask in the comments if you would like to know the name of the shop. Yeah, moving on. 4th wing. One of my favorite audiobooks. I don't read books anymore because I prefer to stitch, but I like listening to audiobooks. And I love 4th wing. So I decided almost 2 years ago now to make the pattern. And I'm getting there now. I think I'm on about 75% now. So I hope it will be done this year. This is on, where is it? This is on 18 count Ada, hand dyed. If I were to do it again, I would have stitched it on darker fabric, but the book cover is yellow, which is why I chose yellow. But I did think I would use more of those darker brown colors, but so maybe I will do some back stitching as well. The next one, I have not stitched much on this one. It's also by Tiny Modernist, but it was in Crossstitch magazine. It's called Halloween Brooch #1. It looks like this. And the coverage isn't that very good. I'm stitching it with sulky 1 thread on 18 count. I think, yeah, 18 count. And I decided I'll just leave it like this. Another Madame Chantilly. The Halloween owls. I plan to finish that one before next Halloween because I'm getting pretty close. It's on white chocolate. As you can see, I'm getting there, but I think I need some backstitching around these ghosts. Again, this one was started back in 2021 when I didn't know that much about contrast between floss and fabric, which is why I did wrong choices. I took some wrong choices from time to time, or let's say some not so good choices, but I'm not going to restitch it. So, and down here I do have the fabric for the spring and the winter owls and the summer owls as well. I just need to get them into Pattern Keeper first. I was going to show you the Halloween jar now and the Halloween witch, but it's not here, so I will show you when I get to it later, because I have 4 or 5 projects in the same bag because they were smaller projects. You will probably not see it until Weeping Helligore, but never mind. Happy Halloween. That was an old whip. It's a finish now. It was by Lindner's Crossstitch. I decided to only do the text and make one of these pillows I really like. And the backside looks like this. And it's on 14 count pale lilac. You can hardly see that it's pale. Therefore, the rest of the fabric I have just dyed. So it's blue now. But this one is done. And hello sunshine. Caterpillar cross stitch. It took me 3 years to finish it, but it's done. And I'm also done with Hello Pumpkin. As you can see, my colors are very different from the original because I did not like the colors of the original. They were too wintry for me, and this was, I already did Hello Dear, the Winter 3, so I wanted something with more vibrant fall colors, autumn colors, and I'm so happy with my conversion. And the fabric is 16 count autumn leaves, and I forgot to say that this fabric is called Amethyst, and that's a printed, they're both printed fabrics. So now I finished all 4 trees. The other hate, here comes Santa Claus. It's on 18 count easy guide. Yeah, and it looks like this. I did do some mistakes in it, so I don't want to start all over, because as you can see, sorry, that's a cat. As you can see, I already stitched so much, so I think I have to tweak it a bit so it will still work. But again, that's a Christmas project, so I'm not going to do that for a while. Now the Witchy Stitcher. How to survive a horror movie. I have not stitched much on it this year, but I did stitch a bit. It's on 18 counts. Opalescent, hand dyed, and it looks like this. There is a lot of backstitching in this one, which is probably why I don't stitch that much on it, because as soon as I finish with the cross stitch, that's just all the backstitching left. But I think the fabric looks perfect for this project. And the last whip in this part, I still got some finished ones to show you, is one of my new starts from yesterday. It's a Danish saying, so, and I didn't stitch much. So far it says 1, it should say krone. It's a saying about money, and it's on the 16 count Sketek printed fabric, and it's MyDesign. And I'm stitching it with Damasco silks from Misusidas. The last 3 projects in this part are pillows, Iron Maiden on 16 count, 18 count, I don't recall, hand dyes. I stitched the logo when I succeeded in getting tickets for seeing them in concert in June this year, not next year now, this year. And since they are from the UK, I put in the Union Jack. yeah. And then I made 2 Christmas patterns. And they look like this. They are on black Ada. We had a stitch along, a Christmas stitch along going on in Danish on Instagram. And I collaborated with a shop owner, and she sold kits. And if you bought those kits, you could get the patterns for these 2. Yeah. That was part 2. Now it's time for part 3. You can see now we only got part 4 left. So the first one is a project that I had stopped stitching on for a long time because I had to frog it, but I have frogged it. It's Keep Calm and Listen to the Beatles, and I had started I started on the A back in the days, and all of a sudden I started stitching the B where the A was, so I had to frog all. But now I'm sure that it is where it should be, so this is the beginning of the B, and I did E and A the other day. So eventually, I actually think this will be finished this year, because I really like stitching on it. So that could be nice to get it done. It's on 18 count sparkling musical notes. It's a printed fabric. And I'm using Misusida's Pride. So it's a variegated floss. Another witchy stitcher, it's called Kikimora. I have stitched quite a lot on it recently, so that might also soon come to an end. Now it looks like this. I have done the whole border, I mean with the black. So yeah. And it's completely stupid that I started it in the middle of this fabric, but then I was sure that I had enough. But it would have been nicer if I had started it up here, because then I would have all that fabric left. But oh well. I know my Christmas tree I also started in the middle, but I knew that I had to lace it afterwards, so I needed a lot of fabric so I could lace it nicely. But this is just going to be framed. As you can see up there, I have the other 2 there. So I'm so very bad at this. It should be come up there. And now my English is, well. So that was Kikimora on 16 count dirty. Kiss the Librarian. You can see some of it there, but I will, you can't see it. You can see the up of the frame, the upper part of the frame, but I will put in a photo. That's also the Witchy stitcher. I struggled a bit with it until I put it into WinStitch and recharted it and put it into Pattern Keeper, because it has a lot of similar yellow and red colors. And I kept mixing them up, so it was very annoying until Pattern Keeper. Pattern Keeper, then I do not mix up the colors. Well, hardly ever. The next one is this one that I finished. It's a Danish pattern by Permin. It was a kit that I had for quite a long time. It's not that beautiful finished on the back, and I don't care because it's put up on the wall like this. And yeah, it might not be completely, I mean, there's a little more here than here, but you know, with arthritis, to put it into a frame like this. I actually managed it twice, because the first time I had put it upside down, so I had to put it out again, take it out again, and iron it again, and then, so now I just say, I'll leave it. It's done. Good. Let it snow. And yeah, the charm is sitting in the wrong place, but I will not change it. I just think that's a bit funny. I stitched this with, what was it? Silks for You, and it didn't have a number. It was something that I had got as a present, and it didn't I couldn't find the number, but it was very beautiful Silks for You. And the fabric is 16 count hand dyed, and I just finished it like this. I love all those little pillows, as you probably already know. The next one is Meoween by StitchersLoversShop Design. It's on 18 count oatmeal. I didn't stitch much on it this year, but it looks like, I think I stitched this black cat. That's about it. The next one is also a solar stitch, but that's also in that bag over there, so you will have to wait a bit. So we move on to Opera House Sydney. That's a tiny one put in a frame. I think it's amazing with, I mean, if you see it up very close, it might not look that much like the Opera House, but when you see it like this, yeah, it's the Opera House. It's, the pattern is from Teeny Weeny X Stitch, and I stitched it on 20 count easy count. And the frames are again from this little Lithuanian or Estonian shop. And then we have Paul McCartney. That's from Nikki Pattern. I did all, I mean, you can see it's him now, so maybe I shouldn't finish it, but I will, because I did start in on his face. It's on 20 count, a scrap. I think it's some kind of grey Ada. But it's full coverage, and the rest is confetti. So eventually I will finish it, but you can see here that many colors go into it. Eventually I will also stitch the other 3 beetles, but Paul McCartney is my favorite beetle. Not that I don't like the other ones, but he's just a favorite. Okay. Now, first 2 pillows. This piece pillow, it's from No Name Stitcher. I did it on 14 count Ada, hand dyed. And as you can see, I put a lot of glue, so it should hold, but the fabric was a little too small. But there's, I think there's 4,000 or 5,000 stitches in it, so I don't feel like stitching it again. And this is the back side. And one of my favorites, the Pew Pew motherfuckers. I changed the colors in this one. It's from Crossstitch for You. I stitched it on a 14 count green Ada. It doesn't look that green. It looks gray green, but it was fading green, it was called. And most of the colors, except for the white and the black, are silks. This up here is Damasco from Mrs. Cedars. This is a brown one from Mrs. Cedars. This is Sienna from Mrs. Cedars. This is Pride from Mrs. Cedars. This is Mojito. And this is Darling. So they are all silks from Mrs. Cedars. And then 310 and B5200 for the white. And the back side looks like this with little cat paws. And I love this project, the way it turned out. Now we come to these that I really like, but they are autumn projects. It's berries and chestnut. I have finished, just a moment. I have finished the berries and the chestnut. I am going to make them into small pillows, all of them, but first I'll make all 6 of them. And I'm stitching at the hedgehog right now, I think it is. Yeah, and there are 3 more. I'll put up a photo so you can see all 6. They are from, as you can see, I can put them on this fabric here. They are from the Crossstitch magazine. And as soon as I saw them, I just knew I had to stitch them all because they were, whoa, I really like them. And I like that they are so detailed, especially these berries here. But as I said, it's an autumn project, so I'll probably start stitching on it again during the summer, I think. And it's an 18 count easy guide. Let me see. Yeah, the next one, pleasures. I will put up a photo. I saw this on the internet and I had to turn it into a pattern and stitch it because I found it hilarious. It's stitched on 18 count easy guide and I used DMC 798. The next one is Polar Night Sights. Looks like this. It was the first time I made a round ornament and I used some of the thread colors to make this trim here and the back side, and it's on cardboard, and there are some, you can see it's a red Rudolph's red nose here, and then there are some beads. I really like this one. It's from a just cross stitch ornaments of 2023 and there's a lot of stitching in it. As you can see, it's full coverage, but I really like it. The next one, Pussy Pose. I will show you a photo. It's from the Lonely Seaman. I stitched it on 18 count opalescent Ada and I used the called for DMC. Yeah, and then we have a tiny Modernist reindeer feet. I made it into a little sack of food for the reindeer, and I really like the way it turned out. There are 2 more patterns like these sacks, but I'm not sure I'm going to do them because this one was the one I liked the most. And talking about Noctiflora designs, here is the rod of Asclepius. That's the other one I talked about. Or maybe this is Caduceus and the other one was the rod of Asclepius. Never mind, now you've seen both of them. And black Ada 16 count. Yeah. Santa Claus. My first finished Hade. This is the one and I love it. What is it, glue? I absolutely love this one and it looks so much like Senior, my one of my cats. I stitched it in less than a year and it's a pretty huge stocking, and this is the back side of it, so it looks like this, and it's, it looks like this inside because I'm not going to put anything in it. It's just a decoration, but I love it. This fun thing is, if you get very close, you can see that the cat has a lot of green in its fur, and then when you go back, it just looks like shadows. It's really amazing. yeah, I stitched 7,000 stitches on it in December, and I finished it just before Christmas. I finished it on the 19th of December, and I think the 20th of December I fully finished it. I think it's gorgeous. Let me see, where were we? Solder stitch sewing caps. Let me start by showing you a photo. This was actually the first solder stitch I've ever bought. But first time I bought the paper chart, and when I noticed you could now get it on as a, what do you call it? A pattern keeper, a pattern keeper compatible pattern. I bought it once more. It's been a while since I stitched on it. It's stitched on 16 count pewter gray. This is one of my older whips. I started it back in 21. So maybe I should stitch a bit more on it this year. It has a lot of backstitching, but the backstitching makes it look so good. This one is also solder stitch. I'm not very happy with the way it turned out, but it was a freebie, and I'm not going to change the way it looks. It's just up for Christmas, and yeah, this is the back side. It's on dark blue 18 count, but I think it's quite cute. Snow Way by Emma Congdon. This is also one of my older whips. It's also from 21. At the moment I'm stitching the white snow, and there's a lot of it. So it's a bit boring, but it looks like this. The last two times I stitched on it, I just stitched over here all the snow. So eventually I will finish it. Okay, two more in this part. This one is Autumn Lane Stitchery, Something Wicked This Way Comes. I have been pretty busy on this one this year. It's on 16 count Ada, hand dyed by me. As you can see, it's coming along. This year I finished most of the kits, and the moon and the house and this tree. So I did most of this year. So I did give it quite a lot of stitching. But it's a huge pattern. But I have succeeded in recharging it, so now it's fully compatible in Pattern Keeper, and that is the reason why I managed to put that many stitches into it. The last one is my spike project. Still a long way to go, but I did put in some stitches. It looks like this now. I have been working over here and a little bit here, and also here. Because my rule is that if I want to stitch on it, I have to put in a thread or two threads in this confetti hell here before I can stitch here. So it looks like this. This is Philip B.A. Murray who made the picture, and then I asked for if I could make a pattern from it, and he said okay. And here there is actually a needle minder in use. Okay, that was part 3. Part 4. As you can see, now it looks a bit more normal behind me. The first one is one of my new starts from yesterday. It's called Spooky. It's from Crossstitch magazine. I'm stitching it on Owl's Dark Magic from Chromatic Alchemy. And it's not going to be very big, as you can see, big SPO, and I'm on the second O, so it will probably be this big. And then I think I'll stitch something else over here. I'm using classic color wax. Right now I'm using Persimmon, this one, and then for the darker I will use the Mana Red, so they look like this together, and I think it looks okay on the fabric. Yeah. And that was 16 count, if I forgot to say that. The next one is the Stephen King house by the Witchy Stitcher. It will look like this once it's done. I think it's a huge project. I'm stitching it on 16 count, hand dyed by me. And it looks like this. I think at the moment I think I finished these two rooms, and then before moving on to this I'll have to finish up here. I think that's my plan. And then I will move down one room at a time. I still need to do some back stitching here. So I don't know when I will stitch on it again, but one day I will. I do like the project, but as I said before, I think just sometimes some projects I just go ahead and stitch it all and then it's done, and other projects I really like and then I start stitching, have a good start, and then oh, I would like to stitch that too. And then I just don't stitch it. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. So the next one, it's Stonehenge. And as you can see, there are a lot of colors here, floss here, because I do more of these small ones. But actually I think this is going to be one of the last ones, and then I can put this aside. But I have to finish it first. But I still want to do Notre Dame as well as, not Colosseum. There was one more thing. So, and I still got the fabric. As you can see, it's 20 count. So, pewter gray, I think it is. Actually, I'm doing this twice because I'm also doing this in Danish. So every time I set everything in English, afterwards I'll say it in Danish, so which is why you can see it's getting darker and darker here. So far I spent 2.5 hours, 3 hours. The next one is the Summer Sampler by Tiny Modernist. It was in the Crossstitcher magazine of summer 2020. It's on 16 count Icy Topaz. And it looks like this. And I love the way the colors pop on this fabric. And I'm really glad that I have 1/2 meter, so I have a lot. I think it will go until here. So I will have a lot of fabric left, which is good because I cannot get hold of any more of this fabric because it's from Sew It All in the UK. And the UK is no-go after Brexit. The next one is my temperature houses. I haven't stitched on it since April, so I decided I will eventually finish it, but I'm not going to do a temperature stitch for 2025. I did it 4 years in a row and I'm fed up with it. But however, I did fill out the calendar with all the temperatures as well as the colors, except for the last 4 days. 4 days. I just have to fill them out, and then I can always stitch it. This was my own pattern because I wanted to make the house. I like the idea of the houses where the roof shows the lowest temperature and the house the highest. But I thought each house in the original pattern was 39 stitches. That's very much. So I downsized it. So my houses are bigger than this, and I like the way the houses look, but as you can see, I've just reached April. I'm doing it on 18 count, hand dyed. Yeah, opalescent also. As you can see, our January last year was very, very cold, and you know, the fun thing is, it's not fun. The weather this year, it might look green, but we also had stormy weather and rainy weather like we have today, and they do talk about snow, so maybe we'll get a winter like this again. I don't know. Time will tell. What? What? Ah, I visited. It's from when I visited my mother once. So I don't know what I should do with these, but they are very, very old. I think they're from the 70s or something like that. Some patches with Snoopy and Donald Duck. That was fun. So maybe I should not put, yeah, I'll put them down here again. Tonight We Write is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I'm stitching it on, was it 16 or 18 count? 18 count, hand dyed by me. That's Quintus. He wants to go out and he's not allowed to now. I haven't stitched much on it. I did something on the house. But it's also Halloween. So Halloween and stitching now. Stitching Halloween now? No. The next one is, that's a new start from yesterday. It's a caterpillar cross stitch called Touch of Magic, because I once upon a time did the Christmas one, you know, Deck the Halls, and Touch of Magic is the Halloween one. Yeah, I did some Halloween yesterday, but I don't know when I will stitch on it again. But this is one of these projects where I changed all the colors because I wanted to use fancy floss. I'm stitching it on 6, I wrote 15 counts, that's 16 count, hand dyed. And it looks like this. So far I only did an F. And the colors I chose are all silks. All but one are Misusita silks. This one is from XU Designs. It's gray, light orangey in the color. But otherwise it's Mojito, Scale, Sienna, Darling. This one you cannot buy. She once sent, back in the days I was a very, very good customer, so she once sent me a hank of this blue, dark blue, black. It's very, very beautiful. It wasn't a full hang. I think it was, if a full hang is 100 gram, then this is maybe about 50 gram or so. So I don't use it very often, but you can see it's so beautiful. I did ask her, why don't you make it? But she decided not to. Well, and then we have, this one is called Rouge. This one is number 52, number 18, number 55, Quintus, be quiet, number 54, Hydrangea, and Toxic. So these are the colors for Touch of Magic. But when I will stitch on it again, I have absolutely no idea. Probably when we get a bit closer to Halloween. But at least it started now. Now this old Egyptian guy, Tutankhamun, or Tut, he looks like this. It's a Pemi pattern. It's on 16 count black Ada, and it looks like this. And I have him now in Pattern Keeper fully compatible, so I just have to be in the mood for stitching on black. And actually it's not that hard for me to stitch on black anymore, I found out. So that's nice, because I like the way it looks on black. I should finish this one soon. It's Vampire by the Witchy Stitcher. She also made a pattern in the same style with a bunny. So this is on 16 count, hand dyed. It's not that I missed that much on it, so maybe I should just pull myself together and get it done, but it's kind of Halloween for me, so I'll probably not feel like stitching on it for quite some time, but it is so beautiful. Now is Winter Silhouettes by Diane Arthurs. I'm stitching up I'm stitching it on navy blue 16 count Ada with B5200, and I love the way it looks. It looks like this. I still don't know how. I think it will be how I will finish it. I think I'll have to find a frame for it, because it's going to be very, very long. It's going to be too long to make a very long pillow, I think. But maybe I will make a long pillow after all. But time will tell. Maybe I will just put it on cardboard, lace it and then put it on cardboard. That might be an idea. Well, I still need to stitch a lot on it, so it's not that I have to make up my mind today. Thank God for that. Next one is the Winter Sampler, which is my name for it. It's not Tiny Modernist's name for it. It's on 16 count Ada, called Linen Look. It looks like this. This is also one of my, no, it's just because it was from Crossstitch of January 21, but I actually didn't start it until October 23. So it's not that it's that old. But they are really, really cute. I'm beginning to see an end to this. Now comes this one with all these projects in it. So let's see. Let me just pull them all out. Yeah, I have 5 projects in it. 4. This is the Halloween Witch by StitchersLoversShop design. I did a lot here and some of the black here. And as you can see, it's an 18 count easy guide. The Halloween jar, also by StitchersLoversShop. This one I finished more than a year ago, and I did quite a lot on this, but as you can see, I still need to do all the backstitching as well as finishing it here. I thought I was going to frame it, but I think now that I will probably put it on cardboards, or as making a flat finish, or I will make it into a pillow. And then we have this Merry Catmas, also by StitchersLoversShop. Oh yeah, this is on 14 count hand dyed, and this is on 18 count opalescent hand dyed. And I thought I would have finished this by now, but I mean, I only need 300 as well as a lot of backstitching, and that just didn't happen. So next Christmas. It has a lot of, not a lot of, but you can see there the eyes, fractional stitches. I hate doing fractionals on Ada. I hadn't noticed it had fractional stitches when I started it. And then we have Weeping Helagore by Noctiflora Design. Again, 16 count hand dyed by me. I thought I would finish this one too, but as soon as we have passed Halloween, I don't feel like stitching on it. So next Halloween. The next one is a restart. It's Weihnachtsmarkt by MyDesign, where I changed all the colors. You will probably have seen it, and I haven't stitched on it since then. I'm doing it on 20 count with 1/1. So not much to talk about this one. What is this? Ah, yeah, the video game sampler by Screaming Heart Design. It's on 16 count Ada called Café au lait. And I'm using the Misuseda silk called Avatar. And it looks like this. And the only thing I did was some of these, I think. So eventually I will finish this one too. But this year, not this year, last year, I at least stitched a bit on it. And this one is also a restart, a recent one. It's a Snowfall by, yeah, this is the first part where I did it on Ada. And this is the way it looks. I made a very bad counting mistake, so I had to unpick a lot, and I'm lazy. So I changed it into even weave, 27 count, my new go-to even weave. This is hand dyed. And I did this so far. And I love the way it looks on even weave. And I'm really looking forward to putting in all those, well, not exactly all 1800 beads or how many beads there are, but it will look absolutely amazing when I get to it. It's just, the stitching looks so beautiful on even weave, I think. This is the Winter Village by StitchersLoversShop Designs. I'm stitching it on 18 count hand dyed, and it looks like this, and it's so cute. I also bought the Autumn Village, and I think there will be a summer as well as a spring village too. But it does have quite a lot of backstitching. I did the backstitching on the first house, but I think it's gorgeous, and I think it looks amazing on this piece of fabric. So the last whip is actually 2 whips, because it's the Witcher, which I did not stitch on this year, but I will show him briefly. He looks like this. I still need to finish him, but and I will someday, because I do like Henry Cavill as the Witcher, but now he's not the Witcher anymore, so it's a bit harder to find the energy. This one is my own pattern with quotes from the Witcher. I did work on this year. I did all of these, so I did do some of them. And I mean, even though he's not the Witcher anymore, all these quotes are from when he was in the Witcher. So eventually I will finish that one. This is an 18 count opalescent. Now there are only 3 fully finished projects left. We are almost there. The last 3 ones, the first one is a soda stitch. It's Witch's Shoe. It's on 16 count Ada, called 16 count Ada Dirty. And I used the call for, and I turned it into a pillow, as you can see, with a little border. And then I put these Halloween fabrics on the back side. And I love the way it turned out. This was a real fun stitch. Actually, before I show you the last 2 projects, I forgot to mention that I have participated with 2 patterns that I should come up with myself. It had to do something with laughing or pigs. It's for an exhibition that will be opened in February or March next year. I think it's February. And I already got the free ticket because I participated with 2. I will show you them here. The first one is very easy to see that it's a pig. And the other one, the øf, that's how a pig's sound is in Danish. I mean, like a cat says meow, a pig says øf. I could not decide which colors I wanted to stitch with. It was a kit you were given. You were given a piece of 14 count pink Ada, and then one of 3 or 4 different colors. That was all you got. So this one I have really been looking forward to showing you. It's Sweet Christmas by MamaWitchCrossStitch. I stitched it on 16 count hand dyed. And this is the one where I succeeded in fully finishing it with pompons, where it also looks nice. I love this project. I think it's so cute. And the backside just looks like this. I love, 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 love. It's so, so beautiful, I think. So I'm very happy with it. The last one is this one. I call it WTF. It's La Linea. I saw the drawing on the internet, and I had to turn it into a pattern. And it's on 16 or 18 count. I think it's 18 count. Yeah, it must be 18 count. It was bought as red Ada, and I put some black acid color on it, so I got this. And the back side, it says blah 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 blah. And the fun thing with this back side is that I did like I usually do, you know, cut up and then put glue on, but here I succeeded in, you can, yeah, maybe you can see it here, but I managed to put it so you cannot see. I found that a bit fun. So this was my last project of 2024. If you have been watching till here, bravo, well done. I hope you have been enjoying watching all my projects. I kind of hope that I don't stitch on that many projects in 2025, but you never know. Thank you very much for watching, and Happy New Year. See you. Bye.